So why we chose to call the night Beauty from Ashes. Because ashes represent something. They represent death. They represent the feelings of death, the hopelessness, the loneliness, the fear, the feeling of I don't understand. Ashes are what is left of something that once was but is no longer. And we've all felt that feeling, the ash feeling, the death feeling. Maybe it's losing a loved one, maybe it's the physical loss of someone, a friend or a family member. Or maybe it's that feeling of death that happens. What about that feeling of death that happens when you lose a home? When I was younger, I went away for a dance convention on a Friday, got home on Sunday, and my parents had split up and our home was for sale. That felt like death. There's a feeling of death that happens when someone is still alive, but they're not living as the person that you know that they could be and should be. Like the feeling of death that happened when I saw my precious little sister dying of an eating disorder. And the death that I felt when I also had an eating disorder and I couldn't fix her and I couldn't fix me. That death feeling happens to all of us. Maybe it's not something as dramatic as that. Maybe it's just the death feeling of not being good enough, or not being fit enough, or pretty enough, or smart enough. We all experience that. And that's the ash feeling that we're addressing tonight. And so you feel that every day, for some reason or another, and then we come to church, maybe on a Wednesday after the skate park stuff goes on, or a Sunday, and we hear about Jesus Christ. Well, that's cool, but what does Jesus Christ have to do with the fact that I feel the way I feel? What does Jesus Christ have to do with the fact that I want to drink and smoke? Because that's fun, and nothing else is fun right now. What does Jesus Christ have to do with the fact that my parents pretend to like each other when they're in public, but my home is broken? What does Jesus Christ have to do with the fact that most of my friends are getting strung out on drugs, and I'm stuck in this stupid town, and I can't get out? What does Jesus Christ have to do with any of that? And the reason why we put this show together is because we want you guys to know that Jesus Christ has everything to do with all of those things. Mm-hmm. See, Jesus Christ isn't just a man in a robe with a beard who's standing far away, yelling at you not to cuss or not to have sex before you're married or to shut up during church. Jesus Christ is God. He's a loving, compassionate, caring God who knows how badly we hurt. And he came here because he saw that there was a very big problem. And he came in a body that we would recognize as a man, as a human being. He came, he lived a life just like us. He was a baby like we were. He was a child, a teenager. He had friends. He had parents. He pooped like the men in here do. Not the girls, just the men. I have a husband, I know. He did these things. He was a human. And he experienced that ash feeling, that pain that we go through. In fact, he went through the ultimate ash moment on that cross. Hanging there, bloody, hopeless, alone, embarrassed, naked, having been beaten. Sure, he did it for us, and he knew that one day it would save the world, but that doesn't take away from the moment of ash, that moment of just pain that he went through. And think of the people who followed him. See, he was God, he was the Messiah. They thought, he said he was the Messiah at one point. But there he was. If he was God, how was he going to fix us? If he was dead on a cross, what was that going to do for them? And then they thought, well, he raised Lazarus from the dead, so maybe tomorrow morning this will all just go away. And they wake up tomorrow morning and it doesn't go away. He's still dead. Think of the ash feeling then. But then, 3 miserable, painful, mourning, these people were mourning, days later, beauty happened. Beauty happened. Jesus Christ, the man, the God, he raised from the dead. He was dead and he had life again. He was breathless and he had breath again. He was there, he was present in his power. He had overcome death. from ashes to beauty. And because Jesus Christ went from ashes to beauty, when I, Jessica Diane, put my trust in him, I went from ashes to beauty. My younger sister, Meredith Suzanne, went from ashes to beauty. And if we can go from ashes to beauty because of what Jesus Christ did on that cross, you guys can go from ashes to beauty in every area of your life.